What is up and what is poppin'? It's your girl Jazzy back again on the Jazzy's After Hour podcast. And thank you for being here. This is episode 2, baby. First episode, if you haven't already tapped in, go back to episode 1 and get into it. I'm about to address the topic for today, which you would already have seen on the thumbnail, about how I've dealt with racism. Yes, I'm Caucasian. People probably will be alarmed, like, what? She's not Black, Mexican, or Asian, or whatever you want to consider being a particular race who should even talk about racism. I think everybody should talk about it. I don't think there should just be a particular race who should address this. This should be something everybody's communicating about, because this is the world we live in, have lived in. This isn't something that it's 2024. This is a hot topic now. This goes way back, way back. And so I'm here to talk about it. I don't have my hot tea today because I was low-key annoyed in episode 1. It's either too hot, too cold. It is what it is. So today I'm rocking with some juice. All right? Healthy juice. All right? So like I always say, get your drinks, get your popcorn, get your snacks. I'm going to talk about, I'm actually low-key excited I got this chair. I like my vibe. If I just start doing this, forgive me. I just caught myself doing it. So let's get into it. Alrighty. So once again, I hope my phone holds all this storage. I've deleted stuff. I know I keep saying that, but just to make this a productive episode, I have wrote out my list to stay punctual, to not deviate from a particular topic. That being said, I wrote out a bunch of stuff. As you already know, I do a million different things in my personal life, for my businesses. This is my second podcast that I have, so I try to make time for everything because I truly enjoy what I'm doing. I don't feel forced to do it. I'm doing it because I want to. This is therapeutic for me. I don't see a therapist. I recommend therapy. I think it's great for everybody, but I don't go for certain reasons. Some people go and it works for them. Some people go and it doesn't. But I do know it's healthy to find a way to talk about things, to address certain things that are bothering you, or even just wanting to learn and just vent and open up and build a community of people. And so that's what I'm here trying to do with whoever's watching. And so again, thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and get into it. So how I'm going to start this off is racism, first and foremost, is a real issue. Okay. Even if I didn't experience anything personally, it's a real issue. Like, I have so much sympathy for people who truly have dealt with this in their lifetime. And what I'll start off by saying is I'm going to address some things that I've personally gone through, and I'm going to tell you how it made me feel, how it changed my perspective and views on racism. How, as a Caucasian woman, I was grown up to always be told and assume that I have the upper hand, that because I'm white and I'm a woman, that I don't ever really have to worry about nothing. I don't, right? And that I get treated differently in a good way. Okay. And as that can be very true in many different forms of fashion, that doesn't discredit the fact that some of us out here will be judged and will be mistreated because of certain things that I'm going to get into. So, first and foremost, I'm going back and reading. My handwriting's awful. My pen was like running out of ink, yet I kept using the same pen. Story of my life. So, here's a good one, okay? I worked at a lot of restaurants. So I used to be a waitress, okay? And I used to work at like On the Border, Cheddar's, Chili's, like that type of clientele. Um, it's very diverse, obviously. And I worked at other restaurants too. I'm just listing a few. I've worked at a ton. Okay. And then I've even worked at a fine dining restaurant, which is the last restaurant I ever worked at. Tripled the money, the income. The environment was much different. The people were much different. The people I worked with were much different. And the clientele, the people that came in were very different as well. So what I'll start off by saying, it didn't matter what job I worked at. It didn't matter if it was on the border or if it was a fine dining, high-end restaurant where people come in and just throw money on the table. Like, for real, for real. You're talking $500 for just a wine bottle, and they haven't even ordered food or dessert or appetizers yet. Okay? It doesn't matter. I've seen racism in the same ways at every restaurant. And it was mainly from the coworkers. So it became a thing, and you probably know what I'm about to say, but the coworkers and the employees that I worked with would absolutely, like, they would tell the host, skip my table. Say a black family came in or a black couple came in or whatever, okay? Immediately, there were certain people that I knew that would automatically tell the host, skip my table. I don't want them because I already know they're not going to tip me. So that's also a false narrative that people have put. When black people go to restaurants, they don't tip. That doesn't matter that there's a big portion of them that don't tip. Because I'm going to tell you, with as much experiences as that I've had a lot of white people not tip me. I've had a lot of Mexicans not tip me. Doesn't matter how I look, doesn't matter how great of a server I was. It doesn't matter. People are going to make the decisions regardless of how well you do your job or how you look or how you talk. Regardless, it's that person, right? You're not going to change that for them, despite what their color is. So I remember just being like, what? And I was just the type of person, I grew up differently, and I'll get into that. But I was just like honored. Like, if they were like, I don't want them, I'd say, give them to me, period. Like, hand them on over. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of my best tippers were some of these black families that came in because they saw, because they're not naive, they're not stupid. They could see when people switch up, they could see body language, they could see how they act, they could see when people aren't giving them the same treatment that the next table right next to them is getting. And it might be a white family, rich white family, okay? I treated everyone equal, literally, okay? And they saw it. They saw that how you look and how I'm talking to you, I'm going to treat everyone around you the same way, and you're going to see it and you're going to feel it to the core. And I've had blacks, which I don't even like saying that, blacks, like just saying blacks and whites, like it's already just a trigger for me. It's annoying, but that's just where we're at, okay? And this is the conversation I'm having with you. So yeah, like I literally just remember being like, and they would be like, oh damn, like, oh man, like if I would have known they would have tipped that well, I would have taken them. No, because little do you know, they would not have given you the same tip that they gave me, because you would have given them a poor experience. Like, you didn't go in with the mindset. I go in, if you tip me or don't tip me, it is what it is. Life moves on, and you win some and you lose some. It's all good, but I'm not going to let one table dictate my whole night. And my mindset is what made me so much money at this fine dining restaurant, no matter what race you were. Okay, so that's one experience. I don't want to go too deep in that, but I just remember seeing that time and time again. It didn't matter what restaurant I worked at. That was a real thing. Growing up, even as a little girl, like I grew up in South Irving, okay, and it was a very diverse school I went to, right? But I definitely gravitated, even in elementary, to all kinds of races. I didn't just hang out with the white people. Like, one of my best friends growing up, even till this day, we still communicate with each other. That's still my girl, no matter what. Like, she's like so amazing, and her name's Khadijah. She's probably gonna watch this, so shout out to you, love you, girl. But I'm just telling you, her name was Khadijah, and I remember being in elementary, being like best friends with her. She would take me and my twin sister to her house. We got to hang out with her brothers, her mom. Like, they treated me like I was equal. they got this little white girl running around here. And we didn't see each other as any different. And that, you're talking elementary. Okay. So you're talking about, I'm starting young, right? So fast forward with that has never changed. I've always gravitated to Black people. I mean, I've had Mexicans. One of my best friends growing up, she was Mexican. She was like a legit sister to me. And they took me and my sister, and like we were family 100%. Like, they even tried to teach us Spanish, and it felt like we were a part of the family. Nothing felt odd about our race. We admired each other. We tried to help each other, learn each other's lifestyles. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I got to see how it was to be around a Black family. I also knew what it was like to be around a Mexican family. I even lived with her. Her name was Jessica Gomez. And like I said, I lived with her and her family so that I could graduate school. And they lived in Oak Cliff. So I lived in Oak Cliff at that time. So, I adapted a way of life, a way of talking, a way of being. I used to be a completely different person. Okay. I used to be outside. Okay. I used to have a certain way of talking. I used to, and you're talking elementary. It didn't just happen overnight when I got older. So I've gone picked on the way that I even talk. People will tell me, "Oh, you sound ghetto," or maybe it's because of your friends or who you date, or like that's why you talk the way that you talk. And I'm like, what? Like, no, like that was a trigger for me, even younger, even till this day. Like, I've never, no matter who I've dated, no matter the friends that I've made, it does not matter. I've always been me. I've always talked how I've talked. I always have a way of saying little slang words, or I might speak with a little bit of soul, a little bit of swag, or I might, and that's me. That's not because I'm trying to be a certain way, or I don't like when people say, "Oh, you're trying to be Black, or you're trying to act Black." Like, why? What does that mean? Like, no, I've had a diverse amount of friends. Like, I haven't just been best friends with a Black girl and try to act just like her. So when people put me in a box, it was a huge trigger for me, and it was highly frustrating and annoying at times in my life. But I never changed anything about me. I just kept it pushing and continued to be me, authentically and unapologetically. Okay. Um, like I've dated 3 Mexicans when I was younger. And then after I graduated, I can't talk slow down remix. Oh, Lordy. Woo! Okay, when I graduated high school, I got into a long-term relationship with a Black man. His mother was white and his father was Black, so he was mixed. Um, and then I was definitely judged in different ways with that relationship. When that relationship ended, I got in another relationship with a Black man. He was full Black. He wasn't mixed. Okay, that didn't work out. Got in another relationship. He was Black. Both parents were Black. I ended up getting very serious with him to the point where I got engaged. And that's how I have my beautiful, handsome, adorable son. I don't even know if you see his picture up there, but he's literally my whole freaking heart, my whole world. And so, yeah, like that was when I experienced one of the worst racial experience that I've ever dealt with. So, and I'll give you the rundown. I'll give you the story. So I remember being hella pregnant, super pregnant. Like, most people would say, this is when I cleaned for a cleaning company. This is when people would be like, why are you even working? Why didn't you? Because it's not just because I didn't know how to slow down. We were in a time right before COVID hit that money's tight. I gotta work until I can't physically work no more, which is exactly what happened. So shout out to the working mommies and the working pregnant women. You got to do what you got to do. So support yourself, and shout out to making it happen. But what happened was I went to a particular client's huge house. I'm really pregnant. You can tell I'm pregnant. And this woman, I can't remember, she was like Puerto Rican. She was somewhere in that realm, I just can't specifically remember, so I don't want to sit there and tell you, but I think she was Puerto Rican, but I can't remember. So I just want to mention that. And I remember being in there, long story short, she was asking me 21 questions. She mentioned that her husband had passed away. So I already know her energy level was more negative than positive off rip, because she's already telling me stuff that I'm like, whoa, okay. And she's telling me a lot of depressing stuff. And then she starts asking me questions like, hey, like, I see that you're pregnant. Congratulations. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. And she was like, well, I just wanted to ask you, I'm being completely honest with you. I just wanted to know, like the father of your child, like what race is he? Immediately I'm triggered because I'm like, what? Like, why does that even matter? Like, I'm so confused why you're even asking me that in the first place. But I was like, he's black. Like, literally, I probably said it just like that. Like, even gave her the look, like one eyebrow up, one eyebrow down. Like, why are you asking this? But anyways, she proceeds to say, well, like like what kind of black? Like, what level of black? And I genuinely like laughed because she sounded ridiculous. And I was like, what exactly does that mean? She's like, well, like, is he like a light black, or is he like mixed, or is he like black, or is he like really black, like dark skin? And like, she's like, sounds ridiculous trying to explain the different levels of blacks, and wanted me to put myself in a box of who I'm dating and who the father of my child was. And I was like, it took a minute, and I was like, well, I don't even know how to answer that, for one. I was like, I do know that he's not mixed, if that's what you're trying to say. And I cannot make this up. Literally cannot make this up. She sat there and was like, oh man. She's like, I just want to tell you, I feel so sorry for you because you're so beautiful. Like, even when you came in, and she's like, I saw you. You're glowing, for one. You look adorable pregnant. She's like, you got these beautiful colored eyes and you got this dark hair. And she's just like, I just hate to see that you're having a child with someone who's black, because you could be with someone. And she started naming different races, is what she did. Let's just say she was Puerto Rican. She tried to name a race that she was, and said I should date that race because it would make me look better. That would have complimented me more. And it pissed me off. Like, I was so livid, and I was like, how dare you? How dare you make me feel how I'm feeling right now? I come into your home pregnant as hell. I shouldn't even be here, but I am. And you're walking around, you're following me with this kind of disrespect. You're making me feel less of a human, less of a woman, less worthy, and like you're disgusted in me. And the way she was looking at me, y'all, was just like despicable. Like, it was just like she was looking at me like the way she looked at me prior to that was night and day different. She was looking at me like, ew, like, I don't even want you in my home. When you talk about the level of racism that this woman had, she was giving me experiences of black men that she dealt with. I've had black men come in my house and work on the roof and do something else for me, and they stole this from me, and they stole that from me. Okay, that was your experience. What does that have to do with mine? Why are you why why are you putting that on me, and why are you putting that energy in this environment where I'm at? Like, I can't do this right now. I'm pregnant as hell. I want to punch you in your throat. I want to say I want to cross you in some different ways, but I'm not even going to do that. What I'm going to do is get all my cleaning stuff. And I'm going to walk about this house, which is exactly what I did. Loaded my car up, got in the car, called the father of my child, bawled my eyes out. ball, like he'd never seen me like that. And I've definitely gotten emotional plenty of times before, but I was like at my wits end. I was just like, I couldn't even fathom. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is the first time. Like, I have had little things here and there of people trying to make me feel this way about racism or blacks, or making me feel like I'm this and I'm not even that, whatever. But that was the first time I remember telling him, like, I got a glimpse of what y'all did with. I got a glimpse of what some of the things that you've gone through, what stories that I've heard from my friends and other guys I've dated before that. Like, I could not even imagine what it's like to walk around not even knowing when or if and what someone's going to say and do and act because of your skin color. Like, I didn't even feel human at that point. She made me feel like an alien. Like, and I'm giving y'all the short version because I was there for a little while. Like, I just couldn't even believe it. I just was so beside myself that I'm carrying my baby who's mixed. He's in me. I got his DNA inside me, and I felt like I was being treated as if she was treating me as if I was black, literally, no cap, not exaggerating. And it was just disgusting. And I just had so much sympathy at that point for some of these people that I know who encountered situations like that in their own ways, over and over and over again on a daily basis. It ain't even just every blue moon like I dealt with something racism. Like, it's not cool, it's disgusting, and it's the world we live in. Racism has always been a thing. I will say now more than ever things are more diverse and more accepted, for sure, thankfully, but there's so much work that needs to be done. There's so many. I think people need to talk about it more, and think this needs to be more common to make a statement about why this is unnecessary. Like, what's the end result? What are we getting out of doing that? Okay. Like, even my co-host, he's Asian, right? And I won't run down all the stories he's told me because that's not my place, but he's even told me stories about him and how he's gotten people to say slick things to him. Like, I'll give you one example. Like, he's a break dancer, he can dance really good, but he worked his ass off to learn the technique, to learn the movements, to learn the rhythm of dancing very well. Okay. And he was not a good dancer off it. He genuinely will tell you he was not a good dancer. He always wanted to be, but he worked at it just like anybody. It doesn't matter if you're playing a sport, if you're doing music. You think Michael Jackson just woke up one day and was like, hee, and was like the most famous artist? Like, sorry. Negative ghostwriter. It's not how it works. You work at anything. So he worked his ass off to do it, right? But anybody who saw him dance there would be some people like, oh, of course you're a good dancer. You're Asian. And like, while they might make a joke about it, like, you don't know how that made him feel. Like, people are so inconsiderate. So inconsiderate. Like, it could be the smallest things and slick things that we'll say to somebody. Like, we need to be more mindful what we're saying. Stop judging people based off color. And so, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And like, I even had someone close to me um make a comment to me, and here's the thing. Some people will say certain things and they genuinely aren't trying to make you feel how you're about to feel. They have a full explanation for what's being said and why they're being said, which is understandable. I had someone dear to me tell me, well, you keep having these failed relationships with these black men. Have you ever just thought about not dating black men anymore and trying to date another race, maybe even date someone white? Because I've gotten judged off that. It's not because I only am attracted to black men. It's not because I walk around binoculars like, all right, who's next? Like, no. it's not even that I'm only attracted. I'm attracted to all kinds of men. I've dated 3 Mexicans at the beginning, right? I haven't dated a lot of men. The relationships I've gone in have been pretty extensive, pretty long, you know. But to be looked at as like, oh, you've never even dated a white man, people really find it funny. They find it interesting. They find it like, I don't know, like it's weird. Like, oh, you're white and you've never even dated your own race. Why is that so weird? Like, I don't, because comment below if anybody's ever dealt with anything that I'm talking about. Like, give this a thumbs up if you're still with me here and you're watching it. And if you're still in this with me, give this a thumbs up. And if yeah, I just want to know, because I'm like, why does that matter? I mean, and it's not because I'm just constantly turning down men. It's just because the right person who I find interest in different ways. Okay? And here's what's annoying. Why, just because it hasn't worked out for me with these particular black men, or now black men being put in a box, like they're not going to be good for you. They're going to continue to treat you like crap. They're going to continue to show you the same thing you've been seeing. No, it just happens to be the men that I'm choosing. Didn't work out for me. Learned a lot from these relationships. Learned a lot about myself. Okay? But I can turn around and name so many people that I've dated, white people in particular, who they were complete shitheads. They were abusive. They were drug addicts. They neglected the relationship. They just, I could keep going. And they were white. Why are they being praised for good character and that they treat women well because of their skin color? Like, there's so many words I want to say right now that I can't say, that I'm not going to say, that are inappropriate, but it is ugh. It fascinates me in a negative way that people have this type of mentality, that it doesn't even matter, Mexican, Indian, Asian, blacks. There's always going to be in every race the good guys and the bad guys. Same thing for women. You're going to find the women who are good and the women who aren't. It doesn't matter what your color is. So when people try to tell me who I should date or tell me what they think I would look better with, like, it frustrates me. It's annoying, because it's like, who cares who I date? Who cares? Because even if it is a black man, because that's been my taste, that's what I've gravitated to. Why are you judging my past experience off? Why are you judging based off my past experiences with these men and dictating that my next relationship will automatically be failed? That I can't find someone who can truly love me inside out, through and through, for the rest of my life, marry me, have kids, and have this great life together, that it's not realistic? Make it make sense. Because I've seen many relationships like that thrive, and they make it till they're old, okay? So I don't agree with it. Even the person that said it, even the people who I've dealt with different things in the past, I know in the moment they don't mean what they mean, depending on the scenario. And I don't judge them. Like, I don't look at them like, oh, you're a piece of ish, or I just like feel like, well, you're just misinformed, or maybe we just have two different ways of thinking, or we've lived 2 different lives, or I see things differently, and that's okay. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. That doesn't mean I love you less. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I've moved and how I've adapted with some of these people. One of my friends years ago, said something to me, and I remember, and this is before I even got pregnant, but I was dating my child's father, and because there was such a neglect from me with this person, and they were so used to me kissing their ass, doing everything for them, being there 24/7, because I was a people pleaser, that God forbid I want to go and find happiness with somebody and they got jealous. And what happened one time was, we got into an altercation. There was a big big miscommunication. And this particular person, I can't even say the word because A, it's going to offend you. B, I feel highly uncomfortable saying the word. And I don't even know if I could say it on here, even if I tried. So, the N word, okay? We know what that means. We're talking about racism. We're talking about blacks using the N word. This person yelled and screamed in my face. I'm talking spit in my face. You N lover. You N word. Fill in the blank. You N word lover. As he's screaming in my face and there's spit in my face. And started banging and punching my vehicle, my car. That's how pressed this person got because they thought I was choosing this person over them. What? That's what I mean. Choose your friends wisely. The people in your circle. Do everything for your mental health, for your growth, and your mindset. Like I can't be around people like that. Like no. So, but I was so pressed. I remember getting in the car. I wanted to run him over in my car. That's how I felt in the moment. But I didn't. I took off, and I just remember being, this is why I cut people off in my life. This is why I do that. Because I would rather, it could be me, myself, and I for the rest of my life, and I'm going to thrive because I'm going to choose to live a certain way. I'm going to choose to think a certain way. I'm going to choose to believe what I want to believe. I'm not going to believe what you're telling me to believe. I'm not going to make you or allow you to make me feel how you want me to feel because of how you're low self-esteem, because you hate yourself, because you don't like yourself, because you're lost, you're uneducated, and you have so much to learn and grow from that I'm not going to let you hold and pull me down no more. Period. Point blank. And I've done this with anybody in my life. From my friends to this day, one of my best friends, Catrice, she does my hair. You know, I love her to death. And I just know that there's people who are like, ugh, Jasmine. And like, because I gravitate to black people. I gravitate to black women. That doesn't mean I don't with any other race. I genuinely treat y'all all differently. I show love everywhere I go. But I feel like there's like this group of people who will look at me and like, she swears she's black, or why does she always have black friends? Or why does she talk like that? Or stop judging people. Can we just love the person for who they are, for the choices that they want to make, even if it goes against yours? You don't have to agree with the way that I live, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I walk, the decisions I choose to make. But why does that make you feel so pressed to where you start feeling differently about me, or you treat me differently, you talk to me differently? I don't understand that, and I never will agree with that. So, I remember talking to my co-host about this because we had a whole topic about like racism, and like that's why we talked about this way back. Like I said, this is something I've been wanting to talk about in general for damn near like a year and a half. And I remember talking to him about it, and that's why he mentioned certain things about his race and things he dealt with. But he said something to me that I just wanted to highlight because it was so like, oh my gosh. He's like, why don't we just all see each other as red? And I know you're probably thinking, huh? Red? Like what in the hell? Because I get it. Like red colors mean a lot of things. If you get into what colors can mean, it doesn't matter if you paint your wall a certain color, the lights you're using around you. Colors can send off different energy, different vibrations. That's a whole nother topic. But red, I'm automatically meant he's something evil, right? Something bad. But he's like, no. If we could all just see each other from the heart, the red meaning like the heart, then it would just be nothing but love being spread everywhere. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love that. Bring it in. Let's give each other a hug. Because that was beautiful. So I just wanted to say that because that was so true. Like, ooh, I just wanted to make sure it was still recording. 30 minutes later, it's still recording. Yay. So what some people fail to realize is like the effects of what some people go through when it comes to racism. I'm not even just talking about myself because I nowhere near have dealt with some of the racism that other people have dealt with. I'm not even trying to go there. I'm just trying to tell you my story. I'm trying to tell you things that I've dealt with and how I genuinely think it needs to be talked about more. So But the effects of like the physical and mental health, like you don't think when people deal with this on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be it could be one moment. Like when I was pregnant, I was going through all those hormones. Women, y'all are gonna feel this. Y'all know what I mean. We were extra sensitive, extra emotional. So you think I just cried in the car and then like shook it off when I got home? No, I was pressed about that for a while. I was so emotional. I kept bringing it up. It was something I was really trying to let go, but it was hard. And I was just like, man, like, why am I so affected by this? I felt so disrespected. I felt like, ugh. So, but with the effects of physical and mental health, like, it can cause like mental health disorders with some people, like depression, anxiety is an issue. People literally have insomnia and can't sleep because they're so in their head about the things that they've dealt with and were told that day that like they even have post traumatic like stress disorder, PTSD. Like that's a real thing. Some people lose their appetite, won't even, struggle to eat. I know for me, I know some people are emotional eaters. So like if they're mad, depressed, stressed, frustrated, like they eat. I'm the opposite. Like I can't eat when I'm unhappy or going through different things. Um, and then you can build like inflammation in your body from all these symptoms that you're getting from being constantly like feeling tortured in this way. It's crazy, like the impact it can have. High blood pressure, and it goes on, the list goes on, but it's like it just leads to poor health condition. Like people say you can literally die from a broken heart, you can die from bad health issues. Why do you think a lot of people have cancer? Cancer isn't just like, oh, boop, it just popped up out of nowhere. Like some people get cancer in their hips, or I heard a story about someone and talking about how they end up having cancer in their brain or something. And someone was their therapist who they've been talking to for a long time mentioned like, like there's a lot you haven't forgiven. Your mental, like you can't even think clearly. When you can't think clearly, when you don't forgive and you don't let go and you allow this to get trapped in your body, that energy will completely take over your body's health, like conditions, which can lead to cancer in different areas. Like if you do your research and look into that's a whole nother topic. That's a real thing. People might just think, oh, it's just maybe I ate that one thing, or maybe I was just in the sun too long. I'm just giving you an example. Like there's so much more to that can cause health conditions. And this is why we just need to just really just stop judging people, love people. And the people that are judging you and don't want to love you and don't want to, that's okay because that's human and that's life. You can't change that. No matter how much we try, there's always going to be someone who's going to try to break you. There's always someone who's going to tell you what you don't want to hear. But that doesn't mean you have to accept it. That doesn't mean you have to walk around here and say, well, this is just what I'm going to have to put up with. No, you can cut these people's lives. Cut these people's lives. You can cut these people out of your lives. Period. You determine your own happiness. You determine what you will and won't accept. You even choose to allow yourself, do I really want to allow this to affect me? 9 out of 10 times when someone's telling you something negative like that, they are not happy people. You don't see someone thriving, making money, living out their purpose, being a service to people, and going and being ugly to someone in that way. It's just, you really don't see that. It's very rare. They're usually very miserable, very unhappy, or maybe they had a really bad experience with a race that they are judging people based off. And also people are being raised. Some people are being raised into families where the parents are saying this about this race, don't like that race, don't date this race, don't even have friends this race. And they'll give them the whole backstory. And then imagine being raised in a household like that. No wonder some of these kids act the way that they act. No wonder some of them pick on certain people because of their skin color. It's not right. I don't agree with it. My child is mixed. He's half white, obviously because I'm white, and his dad's black. This triggers me even more I've always been triggered, even before I was pregnant, before I had different encounters. But it hits even more different now because I have a child. He's going to deal with different people. Just because he's not walking around super dark doesn't matter. There's always gonna be someone who's gonna judge him, like, oh, you're mixed, or oh, your dad's black, or and mixed people get judged too, because there's black people who even judge mixed. Like, oh, you think you're better than me because you're light complected? Like, there's always someone suffering in some way, shape, or form. It usually comes from trauma in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, like, and I'll just end it even like with this, like even when I don't like talking about politics, I truly don't even get into it. I don't like it. It always makes me feel so uncomfortable. But the truth is like, even just throughout these lifetimes, like when it comes to like elections and stuff, like even people, I've known people who don't even like learn about a person who's trying to be president or anything of that matter. They just will strictly vote based off race. I am not going to vote for this person because that person's black. And that is so crazy to me. So crazy to me. I will never agree with it. I will never allow myself to be around people who find that acceptable, who are okay with that. I just will love you from a distance, and it's just one of those things. Like, you got to learn to teach people how to treat you. So by not accepting certain things, they're going to eventually learn that I can't say these things to this person. I can't act this way to this person because they don't accept it. They don't like it. It's a trigger, right? And it's all out of love. That doesn't mean I hate you or whatever. This is for anybody. This isn't just one particular person, I just love everybody. I don't care what race you are. I genuinely love everybody. And I feel like if everybody could just, here's the thing. I say I love everybody. If you're a hateful person, if you're mean, if you're ugly, if your heart is just black, I'm not going to sit there and entertain that. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I love you. So I'm not going to sit there and no. I love people who have an open mind, who want to love, who want to give love, who want to receive love, who want to treat people equally. And that's what I want to embrace. And that's what I want you to embrace. I feel like nowadays, no one should be put in a box. You know what I'm saying? We should all just be thriving and helping each other out. People compete with each other even off race. Oh, because you're that, you think you're better than me? Oh, because you did a like what? Like, we could help each other thrive. Let's communicate with each other better. Let's build a community with each other where we can all win. How's that? That's what I'm trying to create. So if any of that resonated with you, if you felt like any of this was something you could like relate to, like, these are the kinds of things I like to talk about on the after hours, of things that really do run through my mind, and then I think about and I wonder maybe how other people have been impacted in different ways like this as well. So I don't know. Like, comment below and tell me some of the experiences you've dealt with. I would love to know. Let's talk about it. I'm here for it. Cheers for you being here. Episode 2, baby. Love it. Love the support. Reach out to me because I'm big on supporting people back. It's not just, hey, support me. No, I'm going to give you the same amount of love you're giving me back, times 10. If anybody who knows me, I go hard for the people who care about me. Period. Point blank. That was a little crazy, but for real though, I appreciate you. Subscribe to my channel. You don't know what topic I'm going to be talking about next. In general, I always like to mix it up, keep it a little spicy, throw a curveball in there. You know what I'm saying? You never know what to expect on my episodes. I do know that the next one is going to be, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I want to say it. It's going to be a surprise. That's what I'll say. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be my first guest. because I do it in my loving home, I will only have selective particular people that I allow inside my crib. And it's women, and it's close women that I'm close to, who I trust. To be honest with you. So next episode, stick around. You don't want to miss it. Okay? I'm for real, because this beauty queen really, really takes layers off of herself, and she's vulnerable, and she expresses some of her deepest, darkest secrets that she genuinely hasn't even talked about to many people. Like, I'm one of very few, one of like a handful of people that even know about it. And she's actually going to be bold and have that courage to get on my platform and talk about it. Not because it's for clout, it ain't for likes or just to help me. It's to help you. It's to help someone out there. And I'm so thrilled and I'm excited for it. So stick around. Stick around. I hope to see you in the next video, in the next one, the next one, the next one. Stick around. There's a lot to come. And I'm just over the moon, stoked to have you here, a part of the Jazzy Squad, okay? Jazzy community on the Jazzy's After Hours podcast episodes. As you already know, I will see you all in the very next video. So I will see y'all there. And bye!